Welcome.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Raq and Ash Podcast. Welcome. My name is Ash and this is
Raq.
And we're so glad that you can be with us. And we are just so excited to just dive into this next episode. Racquel and I were just so overwhelmed by the response, the positive responses that we received from episode 1.
Yes, exciting.
Yeah.
We are so filled with gratitude. We thank you, everyone who took a look at the episode, who sent us such, blessings and well wishes and encouragement, and such great feedback. We are so excited to even share that.
Yes.
I wanted to really just thank everyone who has been sharing these texts and emails about how the podcast makes you feel, the feedback. Good morning, Racquel. I hope your day is off to a great start. The podcast is really, really good. I love the energy between the both of you. I'm very excited about this new venture and all to come for your business. That's one. Racquel and Ash, you did an amazing job. I'm praying that you two get 1,000 subscribers in the next 6 months. Just the beginning. I love your energy together. We'll definitely share out. And the last one said, I got to check out the podcast today. Happy you're getting a chance to spread the word about the work that we both do and help each other.
Yes.
You both work really well together. Wishing you all the best. And what's the underlying theme there that you heard? I heard together. And I think that is something that is really resonating with the audience.
Definitely.
One feedback I got that was a verbal feedback was, we make everyone feel like they're listening to the girls next door.
Yeah.
So that I think is important because we're making everyone feel comfortable and welcome, and just by being ourselves and chatting. And I think that is really important. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. And that was just really nice, like to keep getting the messages. We feel like you guys are really sharing and being genuine. And I hear a lot about sisterhood, hear a lot about like a family warm feeling. And that's just what we want. We want that to be felt when people watch and listen and participate, because there's much to come. We're going to put a lot of things out there on YouTube, on social media for you to participate in as well in the conversations. So stay tuned for that. But yes, it's just a blessing.
Gratitude all around for the month of February.
Yes, and we're the love month. Love you.
We're trying a thing.
Yes, we are. That brings us to episode 2. And this is the month of love. We're in February 2025. And we are just going to dive into a topic that maybe may be familiar to people, maybe unfamiliar to you. But we are diving into the topic of the 5 love languages. It's based on a book by Gary Chapman. And it's just a really great time to discuss love. I mean, we know it's not subjected to 1 month, but at the same time, what better opportunity do we have, especially as women in Christ, to just dive into the topic of love and have you all participate as well in that conversation.
Yeah, and talk about what love means, right? Whether it's to a woman, a married woman, single woman, to anyone, any individual, a man, a child. I think, this topic helps us to really understand and maybe resonate with some of the ways you can give and receive love in this world that we are living in today. And that is so important because love makes the world go round, right? So let's just dive into this topic. We're excited to hear even some feedback, or some questions, or some answers, or some, comments. But I know there's nothing I would rather talk about in the month of February.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we will be joined by a special guest in a little while.
Yeah.
We'll talk about who that is later. Okay, guys?
Why are you blushing?
A little giveaway, right? Stop it. But yes, we will be joined by a guest midway through episode 2. So everyone just stay tuned, cozy up, grab a buddy or your love, and let's get into it.
Yes, let's do it.
today, Racquel, as we know, our topic today are the 5 love languages. And so we're going to just break them down in case anyone who's watching is like, what is that? You know, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've heard of the book, but we're going to just briefly mention what each one is and what it consists of. So let's go with number 1. Words of affirmation, which is communicating affection through spoken and written praise, appreciation, encouragement, and frequent I love yous.
How frequent? No.
How do we feel about that one?
I think it's a matter of what people are accustomed to with that. Because even earlier we were speaking about there are certain cultures that are not open and comfortable with, you know, sharing those type of affirmations, right?
There are other ways in other cultures, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, you know, the words "I love you," it's powerful, and I think at times you never want people to take it for granted, right? So I think that's one powerful.
It's a powerful one. It isn't. I mean, just to break it down a tad bit more, we can go deeper and say compliments about someone's character or accomplishments. Like we said, frequent I love yous, words of praise when they do something well, encouraging texts or letters, thoughtful love notes, and pet names or terms of endearment. So, I mean, I think that's a very powerful thing because you don't know if someone, as you said, in certain cultures, that's not always something that's the norm. So that this person's norm could be, oh, well, you know, I'm not used to hearing I love you. I'm not used to someone saying, hey, you did a good job. But what if when they get with their partner, they receive that and it speaks to them and it makes them feel loved and it makes them feel warm. So that one is very powerful. It can make or break a day, to be honest.
And then on the flip side of that, I think you mentioned a pet name.
Yeah.
So again, in that same particular culture, you know, the person might not say "I love you" every day, but it's like Ashy or Raqui or, you know, and that's their way.
It warms you up.
Yeah.
Even just thinking of that, like, oh, when my husband calls me a certain thing, it's like, oh, that's nice, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that's one. That's a great one.
Yeah. What's the second?
The next one.
I think the audience is dying to know because even some people are not familiar with the 5 love languages, right? So this is where it gets good.
Yes. So number 2, quality time. Expressing love by fully focusing attention on your partner through shared activities, conversations, and togetherness.
Again, right? People have different ways of expressing their love, but I think nothing beats quality time. Yeah. The greatest gift you can give someone is your time.
I love that one.
The greatest gift you can give someone is your time.
You're right. While words of affirmation are so important, quality time says a lot because, I mean, when I'm talking to young people, I always remind them, you know, it's not always about, oh, who's the most beautiful looking person or who's the most fit, who's the most successful, who has the most money. At the end of the day, if you don't build off of knowing someone, off of spending time talking to them, off of learning their habits, what do you have when you're 90 years old, 100 years old? You just have that time that you spent together, knowing that person, getting to know them and conversating and when all the other things have faded away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My dad always says, make sure you have things in common with your partner, your spouses, whoever, because when you do get to 90 or, you know, 80, 70, 60, whatever is the age, you know, you want to make sure that it's not just the 4 walls, right? Like you have commonality, you have hobbies, you have time that you can cherish, you know, together, walking on the boardwalk or even just walking and holding hands or getting ice cream or something, you know.
And that's so important. Like you just saying the ice cream thing kind of seems simple to people, but imagine if you and your love had ice cream together every Saturday or something and it was continuous, then it would bring back and spark back a memory. Like, I don't know about most people, but I'm the type of person, if I smell something in the air or eat something, it reminds me of a moment, you know, and oftentimes with, you know, my mate. So it's like, it's very pleasant and something that speaks for years and years to come, as we said.
I think so.
Definitely.
And it's the little things in life. Like you just mentioned, ice cream. It's the littlest things in life that can make someone feel loved. And then again, want to give love because of that. So
Definitely.
It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
So number 3, physical touch. Okay, let's listen very carefully to that one, because it's not always entirely what we think. All right, so showing care through intimate and affectionate physical contact, like hugging, like kissing, and yes, like intimacy or sex.
So I'm a hugger,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everybody knows I'm a hugger.
Yes.
And I have had to learn also that not everyone wants to be hugged for whatever reason, right? Respectfully. But that's my way of making someone feel comfortable, or making them feel seen, or making them feel heard for the day or for the moment that I'm in, because you never know. I was raised that you say good morning, your head is held high, you look people in the eye, you give them that attention, because you never know what it can do, for a person, and what a hug can do. And people always tell me that when I hug, it's not just like, a casual hug or whatever. It's like you feel, Racquel, like you feel, and it's that's important to me, because I've had, like, just even in the last 10 years of all the different spaces that I'm in, that hug has been healing to people. It has been a connection, or it has been to tell somebody, like, it's going to be okay, or make them feel safe or secure in some way, or just make them feel happy.
Yes.
I love hugs. Maybe a little too much.
There's no such thing. But I mean, automatically I think about this generation and I say there's many factors as to why this one is an interesting one. And I'm glad that Gary Chapman, the author of the book, made it clear that it's not just sex. It's not just that. Because when you think about physical touch, you think about that. But it doesn't tell more. But in this generation, in 2025, and what our culture has been through as a world, really, not just even in America, but with COVID, with the pandemic, a lot of people are like, don't touch me. So, there's a lot of shifts and changes in how we have to express love. But then there's also those who have lacked that in their lives as well. And like you said, they just need it. They need it to really help them feel loved and feel affectionate. But like the list goes as holding hands, hugging, kissing, cuddling on the couch, stroking someone's arm or face casually in passing, sexual intimacy, sitting closely together. So, and he further says that a lack of physical connection causes someone with this love language to feel distant or unloved. So it's a big one.
Yeah. And I mean, when we reference, we're both married, right?
Yes.
When we reference even intimacy, that is such an important part of the relationship, and it was made purposely that way
for marriage, yes.
Right? If we refer to the Bible and to the scriptures of why, right? Like, the relationship between a man and a woman and a husband and a wife is second to that of God, right? So when you think of that covenant, when you think of that relationship, there should be that intimacy, because that just breathes life into the marriage, because God is saying, that's both of you, right? That's both of you in that space where, you belong.
Absolutely. Yes. So our 4th, acts of service, doing thoughtful deeds and gestures to help make your partner's life feel easier by relieving burdens. That's very specific. Well,
I think you and I started this journey together, right? As well.
Oh, yes.
The Love Dare book. And I think when we talk about love, this is agape love, or maybe an example of some type of agape love, because it's, I just had a thought that just came, because it's unconditional regardless of what, right? And that's where I think a lot of people miss the mark, not understanding what love is really about, right? It has to be unconditional, because first and foremost, we are loved unconditionally. So how do we then, reciprocate that to someone else? Yeah, the acts of service. I mean, like you said, like, first off, doing something thoughtful and a gesture to help make someone's life easier and relieve burdens. Who I think automatically of Jesus when I think about that. Like, it shows, it reflects in the kind of agape love that is a choice to say every day,
you know what, whether I feel like it or not, I'm going to do this because I know it will help that person. And like you said, Christ laid his life down, the ultimate reflection of love. Like how can we even measure up to that? So the acts of service is like, it's a must in expressing love, to be able to say, I'm going to do something to help alleviate this person's burden in the day. Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, acts of service, it can be simply, showing up and doing, someone's grocery for them, or just, caring enough to do something where it may seem sacrificial to you, but it's not, because it's just a simple act of making someone feel like kindness is attached or intended, and I care enough about you and I love you in this way,
It's very rewarding too, because if you do something and you're like, oh, I'm doing this person probably doesn't even know I'm going to do it, and then they receive that, the joy that they get, it kind of radiates off to you, and you're like, wow, I made a difference in that person's day, so it goes both ways, the love in that moment. And 5, our final one, is receiving gifts, giving meaningful surprises and symbolic presents to celebrate affection.
I mean, I like gifts.
As 2 women here, how can we sit here and say like, oh no, not that? Yes, that one is important too.
yes. No, but for me too, though, and this may seem like very cliche or whatever, but not cliche is the wrong word. Sorry, corny or something. But again, we go back to the receiving and the giving, right? Like, if I'm so simple that if you show up with a cup of tea, should I mention the Trini tea again? No, sure. I'm just saying, if you're just those little things, right? Yeah. Or it doesn't have to be something big. It's the little things in life. Yeah. Sometimes for me, it's not the materialistic things. It's the holding of the hand, or it's like a little box of chocolate that says, hey, I thought of M&Ms. My hubby buys me M&Ms or popcorn.
Yes, it's so true. I mean, I can sit here and say, oh no, I don't like gifts, or I don't like materialistic things.
Yeah, we're being honest, right?
I certainly do like those things. I like to shop. I mean, that's certain someone's looking my way right now and giving me an eye, but I like those things. But then my 33rd birthday came around this past year, and I took a moment and stopped. They call it your Jesus year. For those of you who are millennials and Gen Zs, you probably hear the Jesus year. And I took this year and I said, let me just reflect on the Lord. I don't want people to go out of their way to get me things too much. And thinking about his gift, his selfless act, like that was for me a moment that I took in. And I think thinking about that helped me look at gift giving differently. Sentimental things like helping someone, things like all these other lists of acts of service and all these other things. It really does speak volumes more than something materialistic most of the time. Like, on this earth, we want to feel good, we want to look good, but sometimes, just like you said, someone thinking of you enough to say, I made you a cup of tea, I knew you were cold, I knew you just got in from a long day, let me rub your feet, or whatever it is. Like, those are moments that you can't put a price on at all.
Something I started gifting that I've been really surprised at how it's being received, but I'm happy and joyful because of what it's done for me. A devotional.
I know that. Gave me a great one.
It's just because everyone's going through so much, like I mentioned earlier. Everyone has something, right? There's not a person on the face of this earth that doesn't have something they're dealing with. And some in more crisis than others, or some in places that just life spaces. But these little devotionals or even cards, or a text or a phone call, it just goes a long way.
Yes, it
does. And I mean, yes, you can send someone flowers, you can send someone eggs nowadays, maybe.
Eggs, the eggs.
Yeah, the eggs. Like, you can do all of those things. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's just the thought. They always say, right? Oh, it's the thought behind it. Yes, it is.
It really is.
It really is the thought behind it. Yeah. So that's important.
It is. Yeah. It really is.
Well, thank you, Ash, for explaining and defining the 5 love languages, because so many people probably don't even conversate about that on a daily basis or know about it.
Absolutely.
And we take it for granted. But, it's good to have the conversation around it.
It is. It really is. But I highly suggest everybody, man, woman, young person, think about getting this book. It's by Gary Chapman. It's called The 5 Love Languages. It's a really interesting look at love and how we translate love, how we express love to people, how we receive it. And it's really interesting, and I think it's something that everyone can benefit from. So we highly suggest that. And in a few minutes, we're going to go into a different situation. We're going to have our first guest ever on the Raq and Ash Podcast. Drum roll, please. It's Mr. Russell, my husband. We're going to get a look at the male perspective. Yes, but we're going to get a look at the male perspective on love languages, love, marriage, and all the things.
Yeah. And I know later on, Ash is going to give you some pearls of wisdom when it comes to engaging with us. But please, these 5 love languages, if you know, or maybe someone's like, hey, you didn't mention this, but this could be a love language,
Yes.
Message us.
Please, yes. Be sure to comment, guys. We're looking to talk with you, to engage. If you have any suggestions or any topics you want to go over, if you want us to do a full series on love, we'd love to hear from you. Okay.
There's some really powerful chapters in that Love Dare book. And for those of you, it really came to light from the movie
that is
Fireproof,
from Fireproof
with Kirk Cameron.
Yes, by the Kendrick brothers.
Yes. Amazing movie. No Spouse Left Behind, I think, was the theme of that. But the chapters in that book really helped shift even my mindset and my thinking, my perspective about unconditional love.
Yes. So yes. We'll have a chat with Tim in a few minutes.
Yeah.
My hubby.
Stay tuned. Well, hello there, sir.
Hello.
Welcome, Tim Russell, Ashley's husband, to the show. He is actually, Ash, our first guest. So we are excited to welcome him.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it so much. And I'm very honored to be your first guest in the second episode. And I must say, you guys are doing a great job at this. I look at it, I enjoyed it so much. Good job.
Thank you so much. This segment is actually called The Male Perspective, and our guest, Mr. Timothy Russell, will give some views on a couple of questions that I'm going to just get his take on. Okay? So, Tim, can you briefly describe to me how you and Ash came to be?
It's the Lord's doing. That's really what it is. Working at church, Ash is the leader of the drama ministry, and I am the leader of the sound ministry. So one day, it was just before Easter of that year, 2018. Ash was getting ready to do one of her plays, like one of her famous plays at church. Pastor Val introduced Ash and I to each other. And the way we like to tell the story is like Adam and Eve. The way God brought Eve to Adam, I always say, Pastor Val, she brought Ash to me in the sound booth, and she introduced us, and right away it's like instantly there was something there. And it just grew into a really good friendship. I will say she became my best friend. She still is my best friend, and it just grew from there, and we became husband and wife.
Well, congratulations and great job, Pastor Val.
Thank you.
Being the Lord's matchmaker. So now today's episode, we spoke about the 5 love languages, right? And as we are asking ourselves, Ash and I, now we're going to ask you, what is your primary love language? What do you feel resonates most with you?
Well, what I remembered the most, that it was quality time and touch. And it's hard for me to figure out which one, which one is number one, because right now I think about it, both of them are neck and neck.
Okay.
Right. Quality time. I love spending, as I said, Ash is my best friend. And who do you look for when you're going somewhere? You look for your best friend. Everywhere you go into the mall, you're like, hey, I wonder what my best friend is doing. You feel like eating something, you're going for a drive just to pick up something to eat. It'll be like, let me pick up my best friend. So that's how it is. I always, everywhere I go, I want to be with her. So quality time is very important for us, and we enjoy doing the same things together as well.
Yeah.
We enjoy going places, nice places, beaches, anywhere by the seaside. Anything to do with animals, and and we like to look at TV together as well. So yeah, quality time is important for me.
And again, I think a lot of our viewers will want to hear your perspective on the other one, on touch. So tell me a little bit about that.
Coming from a man.
Yes, coming from a man.
So when I say touch, I don't mean what everyone's going to be thinking. Okay. Yes, that's part of it. That's a very important part of a marriage, right? But there's also, that moment when your partner is weak, feeling a little bit of weakness, and you just feel that hand grab onto your hand, and hey, this person is here with me. And there's also like little things like sleeping at night. I always make sure, my feet got to be touching her, my hand got to be touched, or we got to be right next to each other if it's really cold. And if I don't get, for some reason, if I don't get that, although I'm asleep at night, I feel like I'm a little bit different when I wake up in the morning. I feel if we sleep close together, I wake up much happier. My day doesn't depend on this, but it does play a role in my attitude throughout the day as well. My closeness to her.
Yeah. Are you surprised by that, or is that something you were expecting him to say?
Yeah, I think I expected definitely the quality time. I do know that that's really important to us because, as we're always saying, like, time is so really precious, and with work and with life and other things, if we don't take that time, to really be with that person, then how will we really be able to get through the day?
Yeah. Well, what's endearing and surprising to me is to hear that, the same way us women look for security, right? That's what resonated with me when you were speaking, when you said, even when, you're just feeling for that person, or when your partner or your spouse or loved one is weak, that touch of that confirmation that I am here, right? So what I'm seeing also is similarity. Right. So even though the male perspective is very different at times than the female, but there is, again, security, right? Love brings security.
Yes. But men, we don't speak about it as much as women. Women will say, "Oh, I need security." A man wouldn't say that, but we do need it. We, just as we give it, we need it as well. Yeah, to balance off the relationship. Yeah.
And that's important. So speaking of relationship, Tim, can you share a little bit about your views on marriage and love as a Christian man?
As a Christian man, I would say, if I'm speaking to all young men out there who's thinking about if they get married or not, just do it. Just do it. Marriage is a good thing, but you got to go back to the one who created marriage, which is God. If you do things His way, if you go into marriage with a right mindset, you will have a successful marriage. I'm not saying it's going to be every day going to be easy. Marriage, you're going to work at it. But God called the man the priest of the home, and you gotta get into marriage with that attitude, being the priest of the home and being in authority. But doesn't mean that although you're in authority, you walk around like if you're in authority. No, you could remain at ease and still be in authority. and and the Lord will take over the relationship from there. You gotta put the Lord in the center of your marriage. There's no other way it will work. It was designed by Him. It goes with His rules. So we gotta abide by it for it to be successful.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for giving us the male perspective on today's episode. We appreciate it, and we want people, especially the males who are viewing the episode, to really take as much as you can from this little conversation in segment 2, because as we mentioned earlier in our podcast, this is for everyone, right, Ash? Yep. And I think it's important for people also hearing good news about marriage and relationships, because again, sorry world, I keep referencing the world, but it is much needed in this time. So thank you so much. Yeah. So now we know what she was blushing about.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, absolutely.
No. If I could turn back the clock, I would have. She's blushing already. See?
All right.
If I could turn back the clock, I would have gotten married to her much sooner. From the very beginning, when I met her, I would have told her that I am going to marry you from the very beginning. Not to waste time, because I enjoy being married to her. Aww. So if I could have changed something, that would have been it. I would have told you from the very beginning, I'm going to get married to you, Ash, right? And do that as soon as I can.
Back at you.
Same.
I know.
It's confident. That's a good thing. Or are you picking it up from Raq and Ash? Well, God bless your union and your marriage, and may you have more and more time together, right? The rest of your life.
Thank you so much. And you guys are doing such an excellent job at this. I just want to say God bless you, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you.
Yes. Well, thank you. And thank you for sharing Ash with me.
Anytime.
So Ash, let's hear it. What is your primary love language?
Oh boy. I could honestly say they all apply, but not evenly. So I guess if I think about it, words of affirmation. Yeah. I love that.
Give me an example of a word, of an affirmation that is at the top of your priority list. And now, is that something you want to hear all the time, or is it something that someone says that, you know what I mean? Is it the want, or is it the intention? Like, if you understand.
I want to receive that. As we spoke about, Racquel and I are both married women. So when my husband and I got together, it honestly was a natural thing for him. It's not like something that, I had to pull out of him. Just like someone to kind of be there to cheer you on, someone to, like I said, naturally express love. Even like we had a little habit in the beginning of our marriage where we used to write notes sometimes and just kind of put it on a Post-it and like, oh, I love you, or God bless you in the day. Like, I don't know, just those little things. It warms me up when I hear a pet name or anything like that. We have so many nicknames. Like it's Asher's, it's a whole lot. He's shaking his head in the corner. But yeah, I don't know, it's just that thing on the inside that makes you feel special and feel like you said, when that love language hits you, you're loved. It translates love to me to feel the words, being projected to me. I can't express, it's just inexplainable.
Okay. And that's at the top of your list.
It's at the top. Yeah. I could list a few more, but we won't go there. That's a whole story in itself. But Racquel, how about you? What would you call your primary love language?
For me, I would have to say touch.
Physical touch.
Physical touch, just because of, what I shared in the beginning and earlier about just it's important, right? And I think it's just my personality as well. So physical touch for me, because, even, with my children, right? It's just, I tease them all the time, but that quick little hug, nowadays, my teenagers hug very differently. They butt you with their head. But my oldest, and when my oldest hugs me, that's how I know, but physical touch for me, with my husband, I think one of the most endearing things, back to what you shared about when you feel loved, when you feel the most, receptive to what's being intended or done. For me, it is always when he kisses me on the top of my forehead. I just feel okay, like the world is good. I feel safe. I feel secured. I feel loved. I feel because for me that feels like a special moment. Like for you, it just feels like, okay, I got you. And however secure. That the intent is for me, it's security and love. So,
and that's how women translate love anyway. I was watching something one time, and it was a couple, my husband and I were watching, and the husband said, well, a woman sees love as security and comfort, and a man sees love as respect.
Correct.
And so for you to say that, that kiss on the head is I'm secure, it makes sense to speak to that,
we must have seen the same
really?
video. I did. I just saw something like that, like about a week or 2 weeks ago. Where
XO marriage, I think it's
and again, as two married women, right? We're both in different stages of our marriage. Newlyweds, and I don't want to say oldlyweds, but
celebrate that 31
years of marriage,
and our 2 blessed years, amen.
Yes. So again, very different perspectives and very different love languages. Right?
Definitely.
Verbal, touch, so but it speaks to what is the intention of marriage, right? What is the intention of marriage? So do we want to dive into?
Let's dive in. We're gonna now talk about, like we said, we laid it all out. We are 2 wives, so we may as well speak from the perspective of 2 wives on feelings towards marriage. On, obviously, the word refers to the woman as the helper. Like, how do we feel about these things, being Christian women?
I'm gonna be honest and vulnerable and say that in this stage of my marriage, which is now year 31 and just turning even the golden age of 50, but being mature and coming into that maturity is something that I'm truly enjoying. This season that I'm in, this stillness, this growth, for me, it's teaching me all of the life skills and life applications about how to be a helpmate to my husband. It's very different than what I thought at the age of 25 or even 35. It's very, very different. So that's why I say, like, sometimes God has you in a season for a specific purpose and reason. But in this season, I'm learning to be a helpmate is unconditional love, but it's also showing up for that individual the way Jesus shows up for us. And looking at that individual the way Jesus looks at us, and loving that individual, my husband, the way that Jesus loves us.
Absolutely.
So for me, that is the helpmate definition at 31 years of marriage. You know?
If we go into biblical reference, like, people always refer to the wife as Adam's rib. And then, of course, we know she was formed from his rib. And someone said, well, imagine, I think it was a pastor I was watching, imagine if she was taken from a toe. What would that say about her? She'd be beneath him. So it's not to say that she's below him. She's taking to be able to keep him upright, to be by his side, because she was taken from his side. And so I thought that was a beautiful, perspective on that. And that's kind of how I see it. Like, yes, the wife is the one who submits, but in ways we both help each other. There are times in a marriage when you have to be prepared. You have to say, well, what do I have that I can be a help and a blessing? But I think in every way, a wife being a helper, it speaks volumes. It's something that, like you said, people think they know when they come into a marriage. Oh, it's going to be this, that.
It's not.
Especially if you're in Christ. If you come into a marriage as a believer, you know that your marriage is of purpose. God doesn't just bring two people together and say, okay, we'll just have fun. No, he's going to put us into certain situations, certain rooms for a reason. Like Tim and I, my husband and I, as soon as we got married, we were brought into ministry together, and it was just like, wow, already, we had the honeymoon stage, and then, oh, well, here we are being used, but it's so rewarding when we let God take the lead.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I think most of the time, men may not know how to communicate what they need to their wives or to in general, just because they weren't taught to do that. They weren't taught to cry. They weren't taught to let their emotions, come out naturally as how ours do. And I find so many times, like, there's so much that really is good. So much good that comes out of sharing emotions. And I'm not saying that, you have to always, because everyone is different. Everyone is unique. But I think that we have to celebrate, the male perspective at times too, about, well, I don't want to share that much, but this is what I need, or to communicate in a way where it's like, it might be, again, back to the love language, a cuddle that might just say, that's all I need for now, from that perspective.
That's interesting, because when you say something, it starts to create a picture in your head that there's completion with the two, because you have the strong head of the household, the one who has to take on a whole lot of responsibility, the weight of the world on their shoulders at times, but then you have this comforter. You have this, as the Holy Spirit is a comforter to us, a wife is a mate and a helper and a comfort, and we're the emotional one. We're the one who can help the spouse unwind and pull back those layers at times.
So, we basically have to be their safe space, right?
The backbone.
We have to be that safe space for them as well, as much as we want that security and we want that, that comfort and relationship. But we have to be their safe space as well, because then, again, back to the references you made, that's how we're helping each other. Because the world will toss you a lot.
Oh my gosh, But to the young ladies out there who are maybe waiting for your spouse, we just say to that there's a lot that the Lord will do in your singleness, in preparation. I just know right before my husband and I met, the Lord was doing a work in preparing me to be a wife, and it was more so in character. There were certain aspects, I'll be very honest, I had a hard time being selfless, just thinking of someone else's situations, and I was put in circumstances where I had to do that. And I will always be on a journey from now until forever, until Christ come back, to get to that space, that's full sanctification. But I do know I could recognize that there was preparation for being able to comfort another person, be someone's listening ear and someone's shoulder to lean on. And if you just ask God to help you, he'll prepare you, he'll do the work in you, and you have purpose where you are right now. So we're not only speaking to those who are married, we're speaking to those who are in that singleness, place, waiting and knowing that the Lord has a special someone for you too, and he'll do the work in you.
And look at that, when we talked about this, when we were planning, right, you were being prepared. And for me, it's a different perspective in that I got married at a very young age, 19, but now at this stage, the preparation is coming, in a more nurturing way from God, and then just being able to apply it now. It's for me, I mean, I don't know what my husband will say, but for me, I'm really falling into this season in a way that's really special. So
God gives you what you need when you need it. And he knew you needed that change and that shift and that molding now. Never too late.
No. Back to your point again, to anyone who's out there and just trying to understand relationships or understand, how to even start to look at what is their future in marriage and things like that. Read the Love There book. Right? Read your scriptures. Look for things that are going to feed your soul, because I think that helps a lot too. Even at young ages, I know some 20-something year olds or even 20 years old, 19 years, who are very wise.
Yeah.
And it's because they're getting rooted in the firm foundation. So yeah.
Ephesians 1 and 2 is, I highly suggest it. It just helps a person to know who you are in Christ. You are loved, you are accepted, you are forgiven. All those things, those characteristics we need to know from our Father, that gives us strength and gives us courage to be able to do whatever it is He has for us to do in our lives. So highly suggest that.
Yeah. Great chat.
Yes,
I
good
like
chat.
Feel warm. So we're back to our popular game that you guys loved so much, This or That, the Valentine's Day edition. So Ash,
Yes.
Get ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Pink or red?
I mean, I'm not rocking it today, but I've been a fan of pink since I was 5 years old. Pink is my favorite.
You're lucky because I'm wearing pink.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all over
pink.
here.
Pink for me, of course. I mean, like, yeah.
We're pinked out.
Milk chocolate or white chocolate?
Hands down, milk chocolate. I like white chocolate. Anybody ever had the Hershey's white chocolate with the cookies and cream? It's really good. But the milk chocolate, all the way with some almonds. Yes.
Yeah, that's my
Valentine's
favorite too.
Day, that's so nice.
No, milk chocolate for me.
Milk chocolate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's certain things like I don't mix. I don't eat vanilla ice cream. Chocolate, I don't waste calories on vanilla ice cream. I eat chocolate.
Chocolate.
Okay. Go to the movie theater or cozy up on the couch watching Netflix at home?
Well, I'm a movie fan. Love going to the theater, but I love cozying up with my husband on the couch and watching Netflix. Like, oh my gosh, we binge watch things. We just sit there. I don't know, especially after the pandemic, I think that became a thing. Yeah. How about you?
I'm like you. I like both.
Yeah.
I am a movie theater buff because there's nothing like previews.
I know.
And my family knows, like, if I miss the previews, we may as well just go home.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree with you. There's nothing like cozying up on the couch, whether it's with my husband or my family, my boys, and watching a good movie or binge watching something. We used to binge watch. Does anyone remember 24, the series?
Oh yeah.
And Ally McBeal. Oh my god.
What's that?
Yeah. Telling my age. Okay. Sorry. Be present for Jesus's birth or be present for his resurrection.
Wow, 2 acts of love. For sure, the resurrection though. Just knowing what it means to us, like the resurrection is everything to a believer's life in Christ. So just to see that moment, intense, but I would absolutely love to be present for that.
Yeah.
How about you?
At first I was leaning towards the resurrection, but I think I want to be there to see and experience that, the birth of Jesus, because I would be
perfection, right? Born
about the perfection from day one. So
wow.
I want to see that.
That's a great perspective on that. Definitely. Okay, my set.
Yay.
All right, Racquel. So tell me, would you prefer flowers or balloons on Valentine's Day? This is a Queen's thing, balloons though.
Apparently, because it's Trini. I say Trini. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know about balloons like in school and all of that, but no, flowers, flowers.
Yeah, I mean, I was a very shy kid growing up, so if somebody gave me balloons for my birthday or something, it'd be like, oh, I'm kind of scared to walk around with this, but I love flowers. Yeah. My husband got me the flowers that last like a year long. Oh, cool. Mind you, they last like 2 years, so
I love flowers.
I love it.
I love anything pretty and girly and whatever. Yeah, I love flowers.
Absolutely. Okay, so go on a surprise date and the details are unknown to you, or go on a pre-planned date of your choosing.
A surprise.
Yeah?
Yeah, even though I'm not a big fan of surprises, but for something like that, I would love to be surprised and, have everything happen in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm very hard to surprise. Oh. I know a few people would agree with me, but I think I would prefer the surprise for sure. Yeah. All right. This is nice. Receive a long phone call from an old friend or get a handwritten letter from them.
Handwritten letter.
Hands down.
I would still have a pen pal right now if you let me. I love writing letters. I've kept every letter, every card that I've ever received in my life. Yeah. And I still love to write letters. I still love, but handwritten letter.
Like you said, I have a box in our basement, with the cards that I receive, and it's just like somebody took the time in this modern age of cell phones and texting to say, I'm going to write this. That shows a lot of care.
Yeah. Time. Again, it's time. So I love that. And then there's just something about the words just jumping into your heart or into your mind and just, capturing that on paper is amazing.
I hear you completely. Last one. Okay. Would you rather have the gift to love like Jesus or to heal like Jesus?
I'm going to take a breath before I answer that, because I always, when I hear the question, I always think one way, but then when I take a breath, God directs my thought. I believe loving because loving can heal.
We're on the same page then.
Yeah. I think because when you love someone, whether even if they're not sick or, whatever, or even if they are sick, there's just when that love flows and is poured out, it can move mountains. Yes. So it can definitely be a healing process as well.
Automatically, I'm drawn to the verse in the Bible that talks about love is patient, is kind, is this and that. It's everything. Yeah. So to be able to love like love itself, who is God, and God is Jesus in the form of man. I mean, like you said, enough said. It can do everything.
Yeah, and in any situation, I think once love raises itself, there's just healing can take place, even in a broken something, or even in a natural state or any crisis. I just think that love.
We agree on that. Jesus. Love like Jesus, absolutely. Well, I enjoyed that. That was good.
Fun.
That was a good one.
I like that this or that thing. Yeah.
More games to come.
Yes. But thank you for playing along with us.
Yes, please look out. We're going to put it on YouTube for you to play as well, to participate. So get ready for those questions. Think hard, and we look forward to reading your responses.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, look, I noticed you have some super cute shoes on. So if we could have shoe cam real quick, just getting a little shoe moment. Very nice for V-Day. So thank you. Yeah. So do you.
Yeah.
So taking the shoes real quick.
Yeah. So we have some exciting news as we prepare to end this episode. We are going to be hosting a virtual safe space where we're calling it Iron Sharpening Iron on Zoom. We will be posting a flyer. You will get more information as well in the promos of this video. But we're excited to open up the space based on all of the good feedback and some of the requests. We want the community to get together, but not only just to get together, but to sharpen each other, to help each other, whether it's pouring into or, being the one that's, filling someone's cup or receiving. Yeah. So we're looking forward to sharing more details about that, and we're excited for you to join us. So we hope you do.
Yes.
As a call to action, I think today's episode was really heartwarming, but necessary, you know, when we think about the theme for February. So I want to encourage you to reach out to someone and to express love in whatever language that you feel called to do. So send someone a text, an email even, pick up the phone and call someone, write a letter, or just express love. Make someone feel like they're valued, that they're seen and they're heard, and show them that you love them. So that's your call to action.
We're going to put up a few little things in the comments. As I said before, the this or that game. We love for you guys to participate with us, but also if we can have everyone comment how they show love to others. We'd love to hear what you do, what you say, how do you show love to someone else. And please be sure to like and to subscribe and to share with a friend, with a family member, whoever it is. So we just look forward to much more.
Yeah. And thank you again for tuning in and watching our episodes and our chats and for loving what we're talking about. That's something we have shared from the beginning. This is not about, views, but it is celebratory to do so because it's about you. It's about you who are watching us. So that's why, it just resonates with that.
Yeah.
But please continue watching. Continue being a part of this community, continue engaging with us because we want to spend more and more time chatting about life and love and everything else in between. So thank you so much. We really, really do appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Guys, we just hope that you enjoy this month of love. And remember, it's not limited to just February. Keep showing love to everyone. Keep speaking love. And remember that God is love. All right. So until next time, everyone, this is Raq.
This is Ash.
And this is our podcast.
Yes. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And see you next episode.
Yes. Oh, and it is Valentine's Day. So Racquel, I got chocolates for us.
Oh, you love me. It better be milk chocolate.
It's milk chocolate.
Okay, good. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Oh, we have a few hands in need here.
Oh my gosh.
Here you go, gentlemen. Enjoy.
This
Enjoy
is not
your
a
chocolate.
union job.
The husbands need the chocolate, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.